Y'all don't really want it like I'm good, but we.
All right, it's been a long time, but I have returned. This is Jerry the Worm Wiseman. Welcome, everyone, to And Then the Bell Rings Radio. I want to apologize off the top of the bat. I'm a little under the weather, fighting off the flu, pneumonia, whatever the hell it is that's going around down here in Hillbilly Town, but I'm back on the air, and we have a show tonight that is going to be controversial, to say the least. My guest tonight is Ian Rotten, and we'll get to him in just a second. First, I want to take care of a little business. One of my best friends in the business and one of the legends of the business, Bobo Brazil Jr., is in the hospital, in Jewish Hospital in Louisville, Kentucky, after having suffered several mini strokes and seizures. He is seeing some effects of that on the left side of his body, some speech issues, and is looking at several months of rehab. So keep Bobo Brazil Jr. in your thoughts and prayers as you go about your day. Also going to talk real quickly about the Ohio Wrestling Alliance returning to Wapakoneta, Ohio on May 20th at Route 33 Rhythm and Brews with May Mayhem. The main event for that match will be Victor Bruiser taking on Satan with a Disciple of Darkness for the Ohio Wrestling Alliance Heavyweight Championship in a Collar of the Damned match, which is a dog collar match, but to a pinfall finish. Also going to see Trailer Park Trash on the show against Nightmare Jimmy Lee. Vladik Vornov against High Profile Will Esquire. Frank Stiletto is scheduled. And a new match has just been signed, Sassy Stephanie against Hardcore Heather Owens. So it is going to be a great show. Look up Rhythm and Brews online at rhythmandbrews.com to get your tickets. Tickets are $12 each. Should be a great night of professional wrestling action. You can also get tickets at the OhioWrestlingAlliance.com website or Gromy's CDs and Tapes in Lima, Ohio. Now, my guest this evening is very controversial for a number of reasons, many of which we will get to here very shortly. And I want to warn everybody that this conversation could get explicit. It could end very badly. So this is kind of at your own risk. So be prepared for anything and everything, because you just never know what's going to happen with Mr. Ian Rotten, who joins us now. Ian, welcome to And Then the Bell Rings Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Ian, we need to talk a little bit about a few things here. Your reputation in the business is not what one would consider a stellar reputation. You have a history of owing people money by your own admission. You owe over 10 people over $3,000. You have done benefit shows in the past, one for one of your referees, Harry Palmer, who needed a headstone for his young son that passed away. And the stories that came out of that show was that it was a full house. You were doing great on concessions. And the amount that you gave Harry Palmer was in $500 or less. There are allegations that you had a physical altercation with Mickey Knuckles and did some bodily injury to her. And you also said that you are scheduled to be in the main event this weekend for JCW, which is the Insane Clown Posse, and their Jugaloo Championship Wrestling. And I have in front of me the lineup for that show that lists the main event as Corporal Robinson against Richie Boy Briar Wellington. So who are we to believe when it comes...
First of all, dude, you just broke a cardinal rule of anything of reporting and lost all credibility with me whatsoever. I told you that off the record. It's a surprise thing, and you just blew it.
It's not a surprise thing, Ian, if it's on the Internet, and it's part of what the ICP is putting out. And, there are no surprises when it comes to ICP. And my credibility is far more valid than yours at this point, because the number of phone calls that I've received today concerning you in this interview and the heat that I've gotten for even having you on my show, is just been unbelievable. This has been one of the most talked about shows that I've done in months. So it's not a surprise. You're not listed on the lineup sheet that I have directly from the ICP. So your credibility with me is less than what it was before we started this conversation and before we had our conversation earlier this afternoon. So I mean, how do you explain? Let's just start with one of the biggest debacles. One of the biggest debacles that is really dogging me right now is the thing with J.C. Bailey.
Are you going to let me talk? Are you going to let me talk?
Sure, go ahead. I'll give you a couple of minutes here before I get into what I need to.
Okay. 2 weeks ago, Corporal Robinson was scheduled to face Richie Boyd, and I was the one that wrestled Corporal Robinson. So, you just destroyed all credibility. I asked you, do you know what off the record means? You said, yeah, because you.
Yeah, I know what off the record means, but I also check my facts, and I especially check my facts when I know people are trying to work me, and I'm not going to be worked.
Okay.
And, I go to the source, and the source is ICP. But we're not going to dwell on that. That's really a non-issue. That's just one more thing that you're not truthful about, at least at this point. Now, if you come back this Saturday and you are on the Internet pay-per-view, you are in Detroit, then I will retract what I said.
Well, first of all, the show's in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It's not in Detroit.
All right, I'm sorry, Milwaukee. I apologize. You are correct. Let's talk about one of the things that is dogging you the most, okay? And that is the thing with J.C. Bailey and the funeral, and J.C. Bailey in general, all right? Now, J.C. Bailey, for those that do not know, is the son of Joe Bailey, one of the most well-known people down around in the Mid-South area. His son got into the business. You took him under your wing, and there was a night that J.C. worked for you 5 times. Was it a King of the Death Match event? Am I correct in saying that?
He worked 4 times in 2 days.
Okay. All right, 4 times in 2 days, and the report that I got, that he got $60 from you and a handful of pills. Now, you said earlier, and I'm going to quote you, you paid J.C. $110 for working those 4 or 5 times, whichever the case may be, and then J.C. came and bought pills from you. Is that a correct statement?
Well, actually, you also have to add in the fact that he was also paid $75 on night 1. So totally.
All right, so $185 then is what you're telling me he was paid.
Okay, but then he was also wiped away his debt that he owed me money. Okay, before Jason went to jail over the Walmart TV incident, he borrowed money from me, and we went through this earlier. He borrowed money from me. I borrowed the money from Mike Burns in order to give it to him. And on top of that, JC stole something from my house that was valued at $80. So
right, and from what I understand, he repaid you for that. Is that correct?
No, he did not. He did, when he repaid me for it, he repaid me by working at the King of the Death matches and the April shows. Okay.
Now at the shows where you paid him $100 and whatever dollars, and you said he came and bought pills from you after the show, is that a fair statement? You sold JC pills at your show.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes you a drug dealer. You sold drugs to an addict. Is that a fair statement? You sold drugs to an addict.
No, I sold some pills to a guy that was in pain after working.